Hello everyone, my name is Unreal Khan, and welcome to HOI4 The Fire Rises as the People's Republic of China. In the last episode, we did a blind introduction, and and that was pretty much it. A long time has passed between the two episodes, and I want to apologize. And in between them, we had the new DLC come out for HOI4, which completely reworked the naval system. And I actually did a playthrough as Centrist China, and I was unable to retake Taiwan. Okay, disclaimer, I do not support any radical ideologies presented in this video. This video is only intended for entertainment purposes. I am fully aware that there are ideologies that are responsible for a lot of death and destruction throughout history. I do not support these ideologies. This video is for entertainment purposes. YouTube, please disregard my statement prior to my disclaimer. This has to do with my video game. It has nothing to do with real life. Okay, so back to my explanation. I was unable to retake Taiwan as Centrist or canon China. Because of that, the Navy kicked my butt. Because of that, I went the militarist path. But I'll try and redo it to work. I'll try to redo it so I can get a victory in. But my plan as of now is to finish up my naval production so I can spam submarines for my entire navy and get convoys and support ships. But that's about it. Also, I'm going to send volunteers to every single possible proxy so that we could deal with it. President Xi visits Wuhan. You can see the rest of it. Remarkable. This increases the centrist power. Pelosi's visit to Taiwan shakes the region. U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi arrived in Taipei by military aircraft and delivered a speech at the island's legislature. In her remarks, she emphasized America's support for Taiwan's democratic system, declared Taiwan is not alone, and called for deeper U.S.-Taiwan ties. In response, the PLA Eastern Theater Command announced the launch of real combat drills surrounding the island. Multiple naval and air units conducted large-scale live fire exercises around Taiwan, simulating joint blockades, breakthrough strikes, and aerial denial operations. Several missiles flew over the island, prompting Taiwan to raise its air defense alert to the highest level. Though the White House attempted to downplay the visit as a personal trip by the speaker, international observers widely viewed it as a serious escalation in U.S.-China tensions. The storm has arrived. Sorry about that. Just accidentally punched my mic. Zero COVID policy. Failure to protect people's lives from the threat of the pandemic would lead to serious questions about the legitimacy of the party and the government. Moreover, the strict measures we took in the early stages of the spread of the virus proved to be quite effective. Anyone who wants China to return to normalcy by relaxing restrictive policies is either failing to recognize the horror of the virus or has ulterior motives. We will continue to implement the zero COVID policy. As the General Secretary said, people first, life first. And there goes the fundamentalist rebellion in Somalia. May as well send volunteers to you or to you. I don't think it matters. Oil crash hits China. Today, the international market crash caused by the spike in oil prices and collapse of the Saudi economy due to the Saudi civil war has hit China. The Shanghai and Hong Kong stock exchanges hit record lows as top economists predict the situation will only get worse. Moreover, the ripples caused by the crash of the New York Stock Exchange and the mass economic troubles overseas have also sent ripples across the Chinese economy, leading millions of companies to lay off workers. It is clear that the steamboat of progress the CPC has delivered for the past 50 years has slowed to a halt as the Chinese economy seems to be going to a stop. Oh no. Add the oil crash. They were obsessed with it in the past, and they are still obsessed with it now. Panic buying of oil. With the Middle East aflame, many of our citizens are met with a deeply concerning reality. This reality is of empty pumps and broken dreams. Without many having the ability to freely pay and fuel their machines, now if this were an isolated incident within a small city or minor province for a week, we would have thought it a fluke and dealt with it accordingly. But these are not happening in small communities. These are happening in major metropolitan hubs of transport. Trains cannot get their fuel. Trucks cannot continue onwards down the many highways. And workers are finding it difficult to drive to their factories. If we as a nation do not recover from this issue, we will have many problems with our status as the great factory of the world. We must help the common people. We must impose severe restrictions. We must help the common people. Also, I'm conducting naval exercises to at least get my Army XP up, or Navy XP. Also, Wagner is taking control of Central Africa. That's a path they can take. I'm gonna go against them. May as well just have convoys, add them there. Third, vaccine research. This process is necessary to defeat the virus completed as soon as possible. We will issue an order as soon as possible requiring biological research institutes and pharmaceutical companies throughout the country to immediately begin research and testing of the new vaccine, not only for the purpose of controlling the pandemic more quickly, but also as an important means of enhancing our country's international prestige and expanding our influence. At present, a variety of inactivated vaccines, including the ones developed by the Sinovac biotech, are undergoing clinical trials in our country. At the same time, we have also sent statements to the WHO and other developing countries expressing our willingness to make vaccine donations and provide scientific research assistance. Workers' protest. As the oil crisis drives up protection costs and the cost of living, industries across the board have experienced a surge in work stoppages and bankruptcies, undermining the confidence of those who rely on wages to sustain their livelihoods. Consequently, laid-off workers in various cities have begun to organize spontaneous protests. Enraged workers are staging sit-ins at government offices to express their discontent or obstructing government operations in other ways. Although there have been no large-scale violent incidents, photos and videos of the protests have spread widely on social media, and the number of participants continues to grow. The situation has overwhelmed the government's usual operational capacity, forcing officials to provide a concrete response that addresses the public's concerns. A stern warning. Good doesn't matter. Massive protest. Everyone calm down, things will get better. By the way, if you haven't seen my previous episode, I got a new PC, I got a new computer for Christmas, and this game runs faster on it. Because of that, I sometimes have to decrease the speed because it just goes so fast. PLA drills escalate tensions across the Taiwan Strait. As the situation across the Taiwan Strait would tremble to the recent People's PLA large-scale military exercise in the Taiwan Strait and surrounding sea and air bases. The exercise subjects include joint control, long-range strikes, and sea and air coordinated operations, marking one of the most intensive real combat training in recent years. The spokesperson of Ministry of National Defense stated that such an exercise is necessary response to current changes in the situation across the Taiwan Strait, aimed at defending national sovereignty and territorial integrity and maintaining peace and regional stability. The spokesman highlights that the PLA will continue to enhance its combat ability and counter all separatist provocations and external interference. Taiwan authorities would accuse the mainland of escalating regional tensions, and the Defense Ministry in Taipei claims it has closely monitored the drills and raised its combat readiness to prevent unexpected incidents. Military experts illustrate that with the recent deterioration of cross-strait relations, the risk of armed confrontations continues to rise. The PLA's military presence is seen as a direct response to the DPP authorities' continued promotion of the incremental Taiwan independence. The Taipei would adopt a hardened stance and strengthening resistance under the support of external forces. The regional stability of the strait is likely to remain high in the near term, posing serious challenges to regional stability. All necessary actions will be taken to defend China's territorial integrity. Okay, it is done. Let's do implement emergency measures. Also, I'm building office parks and naval docks. Saudi king is dead. Not for condolences. Power outages and restrictions in mainland China due to the virus causing a supply-demand imbalance in global trade and rising raw material costs, along with the Chinese government's commitment to steering the economy towards a greener direction. Several regions of China have experienced power outages. Consequently, local governments have implemented power restriction policies to address the issue. While large-scale power outages have not occurred, these power restriction policies have nonetheless incited panic among the public. The cost of industrialization. Status report on American situation. Dear Comrade President, the International Intelligence Bureau, the MSS, in accordance with your orders, has collected and analyzed recent intelligence on the latest political developments amid social extremism. Hold on. social conditions in the United States. We believe that increasing political extremism and social division in the U.S. will further jeopardize its national stability and profoundly affect the coherence and effectiveness of its domestic and foreign policies. As the day of the U.S. presidential election approaches, the conflict between the populist political groups centered around President Donald Trump and the anti-Trump political alliance will reach a climax. Due to the intertwined impacts of the China-U.S. trade war, the regular pandemic, and various other factors, the number of groups highly dissatisfied with the Trump administration is gradually increasing, including both radical left-wing and extreme right-wing forces. Meanwhile, political activities by pro-Trump groups are also becoming more active, and violent conflicts are becoming more frequent. This once again demonstrates the foresight of your assertion that the world is undergoing changes unseen in a century. The MSS Synthesizing Relative Intelligence recommends that the Central Committee and the Central People's Government continue to maintain a high level of attention and prepare for the probability of more Black Swan events occurring. Respectfully yours, Ministry of State Security, Chen Wing-King. Enactment of Hong Kong National Security Law, catch those extremists. Okay, I'm gonna end this episode real quick. I'm sorry. I will get back to it eventually. Thank you all for watching this video. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.